Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We live again, and welcome to the SA Pulse, the heartbeat of the nation. I'm your host. My name is Paul Nuku. Welcome today. It's very interesting over the weekend and in the past few days what have went down. So we are here and we're going to delve into critical issues facing our nation. Why South Africa is on the edge and what it means for me and you and what it means for all of us. And like, we will start firstly with speaking about our president, Cyril Ramaphosa, who has faced an ongoing pressure within the ANC and regarding internal fraction battle, and especially with his support and rival fraction. I mean, despite what he has done and despite coming in and looking like a clean man to say, I'm a clean leader, I'm here to reinforce, re-energize, rejuvenate. What's the word they like to reform? Yes, the reform. Of the face of the ANC, and he has encountered a lot of resistance from the fraction, and most of them, some of them recently in the ANC conference, it sprang. When you date back when President Zuma was kicked out of the ANC by the fraction of Cyril Ramaphosa, which still today the former president has his hand in the cookie jar in the ANC. He controls a lot of decision making within the ANC. We like it or not, he has some kind of like people within the ANC that would listen to him and do what it's right for them and him after getting the information that they have. Well, now we are sitting in a space where Ramaphosa's government has been struggling significantly economically, the readdressing of reform, unemployment, economic stagnant, and inequality. I mean, the country has continued facing energy crisis, notable with Eskom, and like the ongoing issue hindering economic growth, like heavy that one, and like because it also hinders the small businesses, it also hinders the entrepreneur, the investment. That is a pressure on its own, and the social unrest and protests that have been springing about in terms all over the country. And we have seen lately what has, came about within those particular protest and the developing story of what is happening in KwaZulu-Natal, especially with the guy or the two guys who are forefront of the much, yes, Mr. Ngizwe Mchunu and Mr. Pagamani. So I think I think it's yesterday, Mr. Ngizwe Mchunu's house was like, it's either burned, but not like burned down, but it was burned. And then they say, in the news, what we have seen was there were people looking for Mr. Mchunu. They never found him, so now they decided to do what they do, and now the messages are coming across as those who are protecting whoever that they are protecting, they need to stay away because now it has escalated into another manner. So you can understand the challenges that the Ramaphosa authority is facing at this particular moment in time, the policy direction and the corruption that is springing, and lately you would understand, and we're not going to delve into that in terms of the police system, and his highest commands are getting arrested, and the people who are supposed to protect and the people who are so-called intelligent heads of this country are getting arrested. Not maybe of this country, but in Gauteng, because a lot of things are happening in Gauteng. So the CBD is facing a lot of uncertainty. And obviously, if you have your finger on the pulse, you will understand that there is a Madlanga commission which is still going on, as in, and I don't know if that thing's going to finish, because it can't finish that thing. It's like there is a lot that needs to be unleashed into that, because they are just, I think for me, it's on tip of the iceberg. And like there's a lot. And vandaag they have a guy who needs to speak about the 200 million drugs that were in Potchefstroom that were traveling all the way from Durban to Johannesburg. And now yeah, his evidence is something else, and it's vivid. If you check out Madlanga Commission, you would understand what I'm speaking about. But anyway, Ramaphosa's government has struggled to deliver significant economic reinforce to address all of these issues: unemployment, economic struggles, and now the energy crisis as we are facing even today, because it's not only Eskom with the low shading or low reduction, it's also the prices that they have raised within the electricity. So the electricity prices have went up, Chief. And if electricity prices have went up, the poorest of them all are feeling the pinch, and it's hitting them hard. And you must remember, we also have prepaid meters. So when you have a prepaid meter, you log in a particular unit within your prepaid meters, and within a short space of time, I can tell you now that electricity gets chopped. If you have a geyser and you're running a geyser on that particular thing, it chows you. And if you have a heater running on that thing, it chows you. And even if you have a sauna geyser and you trying to, at this particular moment in time, in our times, as we know that the second cold front is coming, so you must understand that you cannot just plug in your geyser and thinking your geyser is going to heat up now. Your geyser will heat up after 31 hour, and within that 30 minutes, that 1 hour, 10 megawatts gone, or 15 megawatts gone. And if you know what I'm speaking about 15 megawatts, about 13 megawatts, you would understand what I'm speaking about. Because if you don't keep the eye on that meter, Baba Wami, and know how to regulate it, because Nati, I'm somewhere now, but not we fail to regulate those meters. Because if you can regulate your meter proper and understand, okay, if I have put in these kilowatts within these particular days and I use these particular things within my household, this is how long the electricity lasts me, or this is how long I can sustain or maintain. And another thing, get yourself gas stove, gas heater. That's proper. That's where we are headed now. If not that, use sauna. I don't understand now if the weather is controlled, if we're going to be put in the dark lately because they don't want us in the street. If you understand these things, it's heavy. Now let's go back to Cyril Ramaphosa and so now, while Cyril has a positioning himself as anti-corruption, I'm a cruiser, I'm here to fight, and his presidency has not been sitting well, and now it emulates a scandal, sa Phala Phala. You know, Phala Phala Farm in 2002, Ramaphosa was embroiled in controversial 400 million US dollars. 400 million in US dollars. More times I get in imali in Buffett. You do the maths at so that you understand what kind of money we're speaking about. And nearly got is so fing that child them fate. I did 20,000, I got is so fing. Uchi 25K. Are 20,000 daima so fing. Ki gumahara pitor, ki shota ka gori. Ki fonela matlero bele 50,000 got is so fing. Panchu isa di down usa mpotsa pandemic mpotsa ka wena. Yeah, so 25K is a Pretorian rapper. I think he has his own lingo, and Limo Madlera, I think they have found something special. I'm sorry. I'm somewhere I'm not speaking about these 400 mil. I was speaking about them being hidden in sofas and boys who are making songs about this money that is hidden in sofas. And when you listen to them, they're telling us a different story. You know, they know what's happening. And the public protector has had an investigation through this matter, and this matter was taken to the High Court, and this matter was taken to the Constitutional Court. And lately, the Constitutional Court went, hey, Bafwethu, this thing must come back again. Rewind! As weird, Bafwethu. You know, because I think lastly what happened in the parliament was they voted not to also impeach the president or to go along with the document, which was the Phala Phala documents, and they were all voted. And I still remember Mrs. Dr. Mrs. Nkosazana Zuma, who was going against the vote, and Mr. Fikile Mbalula came out and said, yeah, we will deal with all of those who decided not to listen to the party, to the collective. So the collective has made a decision that you go your own way. The collective will deal with you. So now they had opportunities to deal with whatever they have dealt with. Now the ANC and its political repercussions are coming out now. The scandal has caused an internal division on its own within the ANC. Some fraction calling Ramaphosa to resign, while others are supporting him, saying, Bafowethu, asibeni yiyo until le awuthi lena enhleke iboni ikandali zayo. So, despite the scandals, Zaka Ramaphosa, has launched an effort to root out corruption. He has decided that, including strengthening institutions like the National Prosecution, and his administration has committed itself to clean the governance. But critics have argued and about the progress it has made, slow progress or inconsistent progress. So you find yourself in a very dialectic, problem at this particular point in time, because you are trying to do something good, and as yet that something good comes, it's like something that you do and then it comes back and bite you. Like a bicycle, bite. So the ANC's internal conference and election continues to reflect in the divided party and Ramaphosa's leadership under scrutiny at this point in time. I mean, the upcoming elections, it will be a mountain to climb for these guys. I'm not quite sure even if the future of the ANC is still, the future of ANC looks bleak. Increasing of also corruption, and it's even worse now because his highest commands are the ones now that are finding themselves being questioned, and the law and order and the people who are supposed to uphold the law and order are still questions at this particular point in time to say what's going on and with the law and order. So now this effect and its impact, it's increasing poverty and inequality, and you can understand if the investors are not coming into our country and spending, and Nati as people in the country are not spending, we don't have money, we can't spend, so we brain drain and as workers, still petrol has went up twice and the salaries are not going up, and the welfare of the system, it's strenuous. The social welfare, the health system is strenuous, the social system is strenuous. I mean, even you can tell the security of this country is in a mess. And we find ourselves in a space where we want to understand where is the future, where are we going with what we are hoping to achieve, and what is the country's internal struggles as well. Because I would go back to culture, because culture and identity will make you realize what you want, who you are, what you hope for, because you understand your culture. And in these particular moments, even in the previous podcast, we spoke about culture, why culture is so important and why identity is so important. We will still go back to those things because these are particular things that affect that. Affect our livelihoods and affect who we are and affect our identity and affect our culture. The inflation rates, they fluctuate now and then. The global factors of the oil and the currency and the wars that are happening, it also affects us as South Africans. Though we do not understand how the global impact us, it impacts us a lot because we do trade with these particular guys. We sell food, we buy seed, we buy manure, we sell manure. There's a lot of things that are battered within the system that we are at, in which is the capital system, in which is economically driven and currency driven. And in recent years, the inflation rise and the impact prices of essential food and fuel is hostile now at this particular point in time. It's very, very blink for the future if South Africans are gonna bear the price of paying so much for essential, for food, for gas. And we know very well the people who get affected more. And if these people who get affected more can't afford now bread, can't afford paraffin, can't afford essentials to take their kids to school, now we're going to have a problem. And now this thing is also not looking good in Cyril Ramaphosa's reignings as a president. and the questioning that are coming about to say, are you winning, Chief, or are you on the losing side, Chief? So we're gonna see if Chief is on the winning side or on the losing side. I know many of us were hoping for the best, and we were behind that man, hoping for the best, and the way he spoke and the way he was upfront with some of the things that he wanted to do, and now we are finding ourselves in a very problematic and a very bad situation, and economically it's stagnant, like nothing is moving. South Africa has experienced sluggish growth within the years, and recently its pride gbt growth often below 2%, so its GDP had to be below 2%. So the factors including policy uncertainty, energy crisis, and the decline of investors who were confident enough to invest in us. So the effects are impacting us very broadly, because it has limited in job creation and economic development. The widening in economic and poverty and inequality comes springing about, reducing government revenues, because now we understand if SARS is collecting and SARS are collecting the money and people have their hands on that cookie jar, it's going to be a problem, because that money will not go where it's supposed to go. Increasing public debt and financial deficit. It's quite hectic at this particular point in times, and the fractions and the corruption and not giving enough opportunities, because in this country now what we're lacking is opportunities, and the system or the presidents of Cyril Ramaphosa didn't give us that much. And I'm not going to blame it a lot, because I'm going to also question the system that we are at, and the people also who are in control of particular situations, and they can make particular decisions. Because also in this country we are failed by the people who are in strategic positions, who need to make certain decisions, but they can't make decisions because possibly it's coming from a personal factor, or it's coming from an ideological factor. And if you disagree or challenges the status quo, then these opportunities won't be given to you. If you study too much, then you are too expensive to be hired, or you are more qualified than, or you find that within that space the person who needs to hire you are more qualified than them, so you cannot be hired. And the system itself, it finds itself in a particular a sphere whereby we do not believe anymore of people who have just went to school and studied this thing, because we can understand even previously the deployment of cadres and the people who were deployed in this strategic position. Some of them were not qualified, some of them didn't have information of what the departments they were holding or the institutions they were running. So we find ourselves in a space now where these opportunities are in the hands full of people, and these handful of people are the ones that are deciding the futures of individuals on the ground, or those who are seeking these opportunities. So they will hold them and they will squeeze them until they themselves make sure whoever they want for these opportunities to for them to want somebody who wants these opportunities, for them to give them to them. Sometimes they give family members, sometimes they give those they like, sometimes they give those who know they won't say anything, and sometimes they sabotage those who know very well that within 2-3 days will climb the ladder and become powerful as ever, because there is a fear within the system as well to those fools in charge. Because what they do is they think for themselves and they think for their time. Is they will never think for the institution, they will never think for the best of the community that they serve. Because half of us, when we are in these particular spaces, we serving the public and we serving the people, but now they will turn it, or they will play this card that you are in their debt, so you are walking around with a Colgate smile with the cap in their hand, so you are walking around with a begging bowl, so they have your future in their hands. It's either them say yes, or it's either them that says no, then everything stops. And that's not life. Hence, I like these platforms that we are in now, because now the narrative can be shifted and the truth can be told, and we can now see the root cause of some of the things that are happening and some of the things that are causing where we are at this particular point in time. Our quality of life, many struggle just because of basic need, healthcare, education, social stability, the high employment rate, and and this can lead vele to crime. This can lead to teenage pregnancy. This can lead to social unrest. This can lead to frustration. This can lead to future protest. This can lead to limited economic growth, and limited economic growth. If imali ayisachange izandla kuzoba ne-problem, and if imali change izandla ezincane izoba ne-problem. And when we hear about our president hiding such huge monies in this particular times where the petrol is up, and you get mad. Even with the system, even with yourself, you get mad. Like how could this be? Why are we finding ourselves in these times? And so the excess also of quality healthcare, the excess of education, the excess of basic saving, the poverty and the inequality issues. If those things are not dealt with, Mr. President, I don't know now, because even the other parties are talking about impeachment. They are talking about you need to face impeachment. They are talking about now they need to take you to task. And when we sit now and we look at our African National Congress, who now is going to lead that party at this particular moment in time? Are we looking at that Fikile Mbalula, Mr. Razmataz? And late development also said the SAPC is calling them into one table with the EFF, MKP. So it's going to be rough. These local elections are going to be rough for the ruling party. And the situation we're finding ourselves now as a people, because we cannot deny at the end of the day that the ruling party, the idea of the ruling party or the philosophies of the ruling party are the ones that are governing this country. You must remember the state. The state is a state of mind. And the state obviously is the protection of a particular class idea. So the state of mind, a state of living, a state of economy of a particular class, we all as a country need to follow it, but we need to understand who's the ruling class. And that ruling class determines the philosophy of the country and where we are going, the state of mind, the state of health, the state of economy, the state of how you are, the state of how you think, your wellness. So the state needs to fix itself, because we are at the edge. And when we are at the edge, you don't want to know what the people will do next time. So we are still keeping our ear on the ground. We still have the finger on the pulse. We still want to understand what's going on, like the developments that have sprung about. We are still following Cyril Ramaphosa's story. We are still following the South African story, because we need to understand the pulse. We need to understand what's ticking. Like I've said, there is a lot to discuss within what's going on in our country and where we are headed. And if you have any information about what's cooking, or if you know the idea, or you have some philosophy, or I like conspiracy theories, and if you have a conspiracy theory about what's gonna cook, please drop in your handle. Let us have a chat. And obviously via entertainment side, there is a lot of entertainment that is happening in our country. Just be aware you're not alluded to some fake entertainment and you go watch a bad show, or you go listen to a bad music, or you go to a bad place for entertainment and think that's entertainment. That's not entertainment. Go to the rightful place, meet rightful people. They'll tell you about where it's cooking, where it's happening. Yes, on our next podcast or our next future conversation, we will be telling you about what you need to know about what's going on in the theater industry, especially which shows to go watch, who's on the top of the tongue now, who's doing good theater, who's telling us good stories, and which institution is holding up what it needs to hold, and some couple of festivals that you might go wherever you are and just entertain yourself through the art, because we are the pulse of the nation. We want to hear you on the ground, what you are saying. And next time we'll have people chipping in, telling us what's the chat, what's the jigs. And obviously we need to understand that we are growing together. So with this particular information, we are staying intact. So I'm giving you information. Obviously, we'll have to share information back because it's not only me now who's supposed to go the pepper, why. So I need also some kind of like feedback so that we can be able to talk, be able to develop some kind of like ideas and where to move forward with the pulse of the nation because we are here. We putting our finger on the pulse. We need to understand, and we're dropping every day. And because we like becoming the news now, we becoming the talk of the town to say what's cooking, what's the jigs, what's the chat. We are here every day. We are dropping. Please follow. Please subscribe. Help the channel to grow. Help us to grow. Help everything to grow. Give us knowledge so that we are able to grow. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope to see you next time. Cheers. Keep your finger on the pulse.